one of the most important things is sometimes people forget, right? We talk about all these systems, and workplace health and safety systems are the same. The very people they're trying to protect sometimes are the last people that they ask about it.
Yeah.
And so what you have is this massive disconnect of the people who've got to sit on a machine, someone designs this system and load ride stuff and all the rest of it. Have they consulted the operator? Humans will follow the path of least opposition. So if you make it easy for someone to use something, they'll use it. So just explain to us how you went about making sure that the things that you put in machines to enhance all of these things that we're talking about, that they are user-friendly in the first instance, because those are the people who are at the coalface, who are doing the dangerous jobs and who this stuff is most pertinent for.
We really base our entire, view on what is a safety solution that needs to be adopted or considered for adoption, based on the fact that it's our customers asking the question. We're not out there trying to pioneer into an area that we don't see there's an immediate need for. We kind of have a mandate that once somebody asks us 30 times, we should have an answer. So, and that comes from anyone in that site. That can be the owner all the way down to the operator. If 50 operators say one thing and an owner doesn't, well then it's probably, one of those situations where we need to understand why that is, as well, because it's something that's probably not escalating. And is there an issue there? So, biggest issue that we hear from operators is too much noise in the cab, whether that comes in the form of you've got multiple screens, you've got multiple systems running concurrently, you've got alarms and warning systems obviously that are tied in with the machine as it is. You've got other, retrofitted systems as well on top of that, and obviously
we're wireless.
And that's right. and you've got your wireless radio with the Test match cricket on. But no, it's more making sure it's not overcrowded and still safe, because some of these become white noise if you've got too many systems. So it's what we're trying to do is identify where these systems can use existing hardware in terms of the cab and the infrastructure that's already there, and how can we make sure that there's a system that overrides all of that. The load ride real estate in terms of the cab is quite small, but you're talking about another system on top of that. We've got multiple other solutions that we push, which are Fresh Filter, X-Watch, and the load ride, and plus we've got various other systems which we'll go into at later stages, but they all require some degree of real estate, and what we're trying to do is more or less combine all that so that the operator doesn't have too much of a crowded space to operate
out of. He's flying a jumbo jet.
That's right. We want to try and keep it as simple as possible. So yeah, what we're sort of working towards is ideally having a single unit in the future, but at the moment it's also about how you warn that person that there's a potential issue. There's multiple other sensors and things like that we can utilise. Alarms are a big one. A lot of these prevention-based systems, so alarms are pretty important. But there's vibrating seats that we can install. There might be lights that we can utilise, things like that.
Well, you have to be a bit inventive that way, don't you? Because as you say about white noise, it's a little bit like yourself. If you travel on roads, you've got a lot of roadworks, you stop seeing all the warning signs and everything the same, because you become complacent, you become oblivious to it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the same for people working the machines. I work in enough machines myself. If there's enough beeps and this and all the rest of it, and nothing happens as a result of that. So in my mind, an alarm should be an alarm for a proper reason.
Yeah.
That danger is imminent.
And that's fundamentally what our overall system provides then to the supervisor and owner level. It's how many times is that system having to sort of involve itself in that operator's life, and it's up to them how they want to set parameters around what's best practice. It's a case of, okay, this system had to cut in 5 times in that shift. Now that might be in the instance that it's a close area that you're working, that might be deemed acceptable. Yeah. It might be that they have a zero tolerance policy for the system to cut in, and that needs to be escalated. So
I guess there's potentially a slew of data that is created through these systems that's very, very handy when analysed to work out, because we're talking about volume-based business, as you say.
Yep.
You start missing a small thing, that small thing will be a big thing very, very quickly, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely can be, and that data is obviously abundant. Everyone's got no shortage of data now from their machinery and their sites and things like that. It's becoming harder and harder to decipher that data and put it into a consumable kind of, format.
To make it meaningful.
Yeah, so you can make it say, okay, well, this is actionable insights. Yes. So our big tool that we use is Inside HQ, which is the load right system software, and it basically takes all that data and it kind of puts it in a consumable format in the form of a dashboard. It's giving them live information that gives them something, something's changed. A lot of the time that information is not available. It's retrospective. So you see, okay, we're down a machine, or
we've gone 2 weeks going the wrong way on this and didn't know.
Correct, and you can easily sort of spend thinking you're doing the right thing, and then not realise that you could have pivoted 2 weeks earlier and probably would have met production targets. Because the name of the game for a lot of our quarrying clients is meeting production targets on a daily, on an hourly basis fundamentally. And so what we see is a dashboard that shows those production targets as a green or red. So it's like, well, it's a one glance. We're on production, we're ahead of production, we're behind. Why are we behind? Here's some more information.
Which ultimately makes the system usable.
It does, and it makes it, it gives you those actionable insights, and that's the difference. Like, you can really go, okay, we're behind. Now I need to identify why. And so there's a whole nother raft of data that you can then plug into and go, right, well, this particular machine is operating normal capacity. This particular one isn't operating at all. Obviously, we've got a machine down. And the supervisor can get a call, a text message from the system itself. It's a case of all of these systems are used more or less as an escalation tool, so that you can be used as a management system, and so you can make better decisions faster. And it's from that point of view, the integration of the safety component into that story has just been quite seamless, because really what it does is it takes those existing framework and infrastructure of decision making and I guess escalating that data when it needs to be.
And therein lies the real danger around the chain of responsibility.
Yeah.
Because it's not that, someone who potentially could be charged, on the other end of the scale with industrial manslaughter may well be completely oblivious, but you're not allowed to use that. Correct. That's not an excuse. You're not allowed to say, well, I didn't know, it's not my intention. Yep. And imagine some of the well-meaning people who run businesses who would be horrified to think that they would ever hurt anyone, let alone kill anyone on one of their sites. But what we're talking about are the tools that are going to be required, particularly in this line of business, to ensure that that's not the case.
Yeah.